What gave you this thought of starting something like Benne?
I've been in Bombay 12 years. I just missed eating this dosa. So it started because of that. It started because we really missed this food. I felt like somewhere it was taken for granted that it's just this crisp thing on which you put toppings. But it's not that.
If you've ever wandered through the gullies of Bandra or Juhu, you know the sight. Not sneaker drops, not Zara sales, but a line snaking around the block for a dosa. Yes, a dosa that's traveled all the way from Bangalore to Bandra, from heritage to hype. This isn't just a snack, it's a cultural crossover. And we are talking about Benne. I promise you, this one comes dripping with extra butter, laced with nostalgia, and topped with a story of two people bold enough to juggle their current professions of a production house and a psychology practice, only to open one for a kitchen. For Akhil and Shreya, this wasn't just a change in pin code, it was a change in heartbeat. Because this isn't just food on a plate, it's community on a platter. It's homesickness cured with chutney, and it's Mumbai's newest obsession, one buttery bite at a time. So today on Voices for Local, it's my absolute pleasure to welcome the couple behind this phenomena, Akhil and Shreya, the creators of Benne. So thank you so much for choosing to be a part of Voices for Local.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us. That was a very generous
Such a sweet introduction.
Yeah.
Thank you. Very, very well put. Community is at the heart of everything. So thank you. Thank you so much for having us.
I see that as a communication on your social media, because I think when I said from heritage to hype, I think, we'll come to the marketing bit, the hype bit second in the conversation, because all I see outside, and every day I drive past Juhu Benne, and all I see is long lines of people. Okay?
I think it's timing. I think it's when you're driving past.
No, I drive all different timings. But for more than that, can you explain to the viewers what is the difference between a normal dosa and a Benne dosa? Hai kya difference?
I think that the difference, there are two ways to answer it. The short answer is that the difference is that a Benne dosa's recipe is completely different. It's made with butter. Benne in Kannada means butter. And that's how fundamentally, I guess, there is a difference. But I think the difference goes a lot deeper. It's a normal dosa, one that you would have eaten probably somewhere in Mumbai. To me, feels a little more one-dimensional. It's either soft or only crisp, whereas a Benne dosa is two-dimensional. It's soft on the inside but crisp on the outside.
Right.
And it has a slightly different taste to it because of the recipe. So that's the kind of dosa we ate growing up. Yeah, it's for us it's a lot more than just a dosa. But yeah.
So what I like about the brand actually is not just the dosa. There are many places in Mumbai itself where one can actually get to eat South Indian food.
Absolutely.
What I find very interesting is the long queues outside Benne, and a lot of youngsters, a lot of college-going crowd actually queuing up outside. And so that's to do with your marketing that we're going to talk about. But the second thing is the warmth with which you receive every guest. You personally stand at the door receiving everybody. So what gave you this thought of starting something like Benne? What was the marketing hype that you chose to create around it? Because the queues have not stopped.
Firstly, we're very grateful that people choose to visit Benne. We didn't expect it at all when we started.
Not at all.
It was...
we didn't know what to expect.
Yeah, so we had actually zero expectations. But why we started Benne was a very simple thing. I've been in Bombay 12 years. I just missed eating this dosa. Every time I'd go back home to Bangalore, both of us are born and raised in Bangalore. And every time we would go back, many times before we would go home, we would go to eat dosa. And my mom would call and be like, "Where are you?" I'd be like, I'm just eating something, I'll come back. And then she knew we were at our favorite dosa place. So it started because of that. It started because we really missed this food. We didn't understand why it was not available here. And since nobody else was willing to come to Bombay, we said, let's just try it ourselves. Let's see if it works. Let's see if people even like it. Because there is, like you said, dime a dozen dosa available.
Right.
From genie dosa to a palak paneer dosa to a Shezwan dosa.
To your classic Mysore masala.
Mysore
So many,
masala.
so many,
Varieties,
hundreds of varieties.
Hundreds. And there's no dearth of it. It's available everywhere.
Right.
But I felt like somewhere it was taken for granted that it's just this crisp thing on which you put toppings. But it's not that. It's not that. It's so much more. And I didn't know why it was not available. So we said, let's see if Mumbai would like to try it. And I think we're so grateful that people come to try and give it a chance. Give us. We're not from F&B. We're not restaurateurs. So we're very grateful that people come to give us a chance.
So you are running a production company. You are a psychologist. To give up both your careers and take the risk of getting into an unknown space of F&B.
We actually haven't given up our careers.
We're still doing our jobs.
And doing Benne.
Yeah.
As in Shreya is on a sabbatical right now from her work.
Yeah, because I've just had a baby, so I'm on maternity leave. But otherwise, we're doing, both.
So how are you managing that?
It's tough. It's not easy. I've been producing for a while now, so some of it happens on its own. I have a good team. But yeah, largely our focus is now on Benne. And, whenever there's a project, then devote some time to that as well. Because that's a business that I've built over the last 7-8 years. I wouldn't just close shop on that. I still love making films. I still love that. So we're still very much doing it. But definitely more of our attention is now on Benne.
When you were starting out Benne, did you ever feel that it's going to lead up to long queues outside? So what was the expectation, or with what thought did you say, chalo ye aaj shuru karte hain and let's figure?
I think I remember that when he brought this idea to me, like I said, we didn't know what to expect. But Akhil had told me that let's, we planned in such a way that he told me that for 6 months, if nobody walks through the door, we'll be okay. We'll see, and then, if nobody comes, then we'll shut shop.
The idea was to make simple food, simple heritage food with care and with love. That is it. There's no rocket science to it. It took a lot of R&D, it took a lot of sleepless nights, it took a lot of hard work because we don't know how to, we're not like cooks or chefs, but on our opening day, I made dosas for everybody. And, it's been a crazy sort of a ride for us to get to where we are. And we're still very much at the beginning. We're still learning, we're still trying to improve. But it starts with just giving respect to this thing that we love.
I see that a lot because you use the word heritage, but even when you walk into a Benne, what you actually see is a personal care. You're there to receive everybody. There's a table for senior citizens, expecting mothers, because it's largely a place that's quick in and out, right? But yet there is care taken.
Thank you.
To have a table for the elderly and very small things. So did you actually plan to the T? Was it feedback from customers, or was it planned before you started?
I think it was a mix.
Yeah, I think we've definitely learned so much from our Bandra outlet.
Yeah.
That like I was saying, we didn't expect it, and then we felt like it is small.
Yeah.
We felt
it's very
that,
small,
and that's when I think from there we learned and we realized that there is a little bit more that we can do to accommodate the elderly or somebody who is in physical vulnerability or distress. So that's where, that little spot in Juhu. And I really hope that we learn and that we continue to learn from every experience, and that way we go on accommodating and making it more comfortable or better.
So strategically, did you decide on Bandra and Juhu to start with? Why not any other part of Bombay which could probably be more inclined towards South Indian food? Like Matunga is known for its South Indian multiple restaurants. So why Bandra and Juhu? Was there any thought behind it or just organically?
No, it was a very conscious choice. When I moved to Bombay 12 years back, I was in Bandra. I was staying with my cousin's then boyfriend. And I was introduced to the city through Bandra. That's how I got introduced to Bombay.
Right.
So I wanted Benne to have the same journey. I wanted it to start in Bandra, where I first came. And I also feel like in Bandra, people are willing to try new things. People are willing to give something new a chance. And I don't see Benne or Dosa as only for South Indians or only where there is like Matunga, for example. People love it everywhere. I mean,
no, the
Dosa.
cues say it all. I mean, every household, I think, today is consuming, some form of South Indian. My children are addicted to your idlis with podi, and I think all kids are also it's an easy meal to feed children.
Yeah.
And I think no longer is. I think that cultural exchange is there for any food today.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing that I feel for us, because even one of your earlier questions, which was like, what made you do this, or why is there care? It's because fundamentally we are consumers.
Right.
We are people who have stood in lines.
Yeah.
We are people who have eaten at restaurants, not knowing anything about what happens behind the scenes. And for us, what was very important is that the kind of experience we would like to have is the kind of experience we want to provide. So, see, a lot of the smaller touches are because Shreya is actually really clued into a lot of feelings, emotions.
Yes.
Because of her background and because of just how kind and considerate she is. So, even if in our list of people, a sensitive population, there's room for persons who are menstruating. It's not just a senior citizen pregnant thing. It's not like that. It's anybody who needs care. And because we visit places to eat, and because we consume, it's so important that you as a consumer should feel valued. You should feel like, I'm going to a place where they care about me. And not just your experience, but primarily how safe is the food, how clean is the food, how nutritious. You spoke about children. I mean, it should be like, I would want our child to eat there every day and be absolutely fine,
Right.
It's that level of trust that I think is really important to everything. Business is sort of, I feel, a byproduct.
No, I think Benne stands more for experience than
I
for
agree.
just the sheer business, because it's not a high valued product. It's it's freshly made. Just sitting in a clean environment and consuming it. So I agree that it's more to do with building an experience.
Yes.
Now, how did you go about creating this whole experience and translating it onto social media? Because I think a lot of people who came in first was because of the social media buzz that Benne managed to create.
Definitely.
I think just the idea of capturing it, I think I keep going back to how ridiculous it was that we were pursuing this.
That's the right word, yeah.
It was an idea. And I think what I've come to realize is how many people share that idea. I think a lot of people who we came across, who we spoke to, so many of our friends, I think it was even like a school thing that I would speak to my best friend and say that we'll open a bakery together and it'll have like a small picket fence, and all of us have these dreams of opening little cafes and eateries and all of that, and I found it quite ridiculous that we were going ahead with it.
And we never had any of those aspirations, neither Shreya
not us
nor
together.
Yeah.
But I think somewhere in the back of our head there is this romantic idea of how it may be if we open an eatery. And then when he came back one day and he said that he found a place and he has signed the lease, I thought this is quite ridiculous that we're going ahead with it. And then we started documenting what happens when you actually be ridiculous and start walking towards that idea that you have. And I think just the fact that people relate to it, I think that's so much of Instagram or so much of social media was that.
So I think it was more because it was coming from a place of heart and not just some strategy documented by a digital agency to tell you this is how you need to promote it.
Not at all.
I think
yeah.
it came from a place of, people resonated with your journey. And I think that is what led them to actually say, let's go and check it out. Let's see what the place is all about.
You're right. At the heart of our social media or even whatever we do at Benne is just one word, and it's honest. So we wanted to be honest on our Instagram. We wanted to tell the story of what it is to set up a cafe. Not just the good part, not just the shiny bits, but also the tough parts.
Because it is not easy. There are permissions to take place. There are open
So many
kitchens,
things,
the cleanliness.
so many
It's not
things.
easy. Even retaining staff at the back end is a
Absolutely.
challenge. And at the end of the day, it's a personal experience, right? So, and people are very quick to judge food, especially.
Yeah.
So
The room for error is actually very less. And as in when the doors open. When the doors are closed, you can say whatever you want on Instagram.
Right.
But when the door opens and the guest walks in and they eat that first bite of food or they see your place, that's the real test, right? We may get, our Instagram doing well or whatever it did and brought people is a complete fluke. How it works, we have no idea. We were just like, let's tell the story. We put it out. People watched. We were like, I can't believe people are watching or relating to what we're doing. But when they come in, whether they come back or not,
Yeah. That I think is a huge success.
if
they keep coming back.
Yes.
Getting somebody to walk through that door once
Is a
could be
huge-
social
yeah.
media hype.
Yeah.
But keeping those doors open is the
Yeah.
product story.
Yeah, so
And
much experience, like you
I
said.
think I also feel that because you guys were honest, like you said, honesty was at the core of the brand.
Yeah.
It resonates throughout your narrative. Be it your social media stories, be it your experience on the ground, be it
Yeah.
your care for people, be it the food, and that I think really is the core for Benne for me.
Thank you. I'm glad that you feel like that because we actually, that's the only way we look at it. We don't look at it in any other way. So
did any of you learn, both of you, which one is a better cook and who learned actually to get the dosa right?
I did, yeah.
So
Hands
did you
down.
learn professionally how to make the Benne?
Yeah. I spent some time with a dosa master in Bangalore
Huh.
who I've been eating, since I was like a kid. And he runs this small little stall on the street side making beautiful dosas. And I spent some time with him. And then we did a lot of R&D. I spent a lot of time in the kitchen because, initially when you think about starting something, you're like, I'll hire a chef who knows how to do this. And they will do it. And I will, invest the money, design the space and do that. But we didn't find anybody,
And we
And we-
found one person who didn't show up on the day we opened.
So it was like,
He was
so we had to learn everything
Right.
from ground up. From ground zero, we had to learn how to make, literally right from soaking to grinding, the whole process. And obviously it took some time and it took some effort. We made a lot of horrible dosas, sticking to the tawa. The whole thing.
Yeah, everything. The whole learning process of
Yes.
things that could possibly go wrong went wrong.
But then on day one, when the guy who we had hired to make dosas didn't show up to work because he was drunk, and he didn't show up, it was no problem because I was there. I stood behind
Yeah.
the tawa. Shreya called out orders. I made dosas. So, if anybody, whoever wants to start something, I would say try to know as much as you can about whatever you're doing, whatever it is.
So know your product,
Know
know
your
the
product.
craft,
Know the process.
and know it ground up.
Absolutely. That works. Our size, still small, still nascent, still starting. I feel it's very important. Someone who's huge and they have huge teams, it's maybe a different thing. But
Well, I still feel any brand that starts out should know everything from ground up so
I
that you're
think so.
aware of what's happening right down,
Yeah.
right? No matter how big or small the brand, but if you know it,
Yeah.
you'll be able to spot the mistakes, you'll be able to rectify things before they escalate.
absolutely.
And I think those things are very important.
Absolutely.
Shreya, for you, you've changed and doing multitasking at many levels, not just professionally, but even as a mom, and running a brand like Benne, being a psychologist. How do you manage it?
I think I have a lot of help from him. I couldn't have, I think it's very balanced in the sense, right now, of course, I'm a little more involved with the baby than I am with Benne. But I think we are able to split our roles such that, whichever area needs us more at that time, we're able to give a little more of ourselves to that space and know that we're covered otherwise. So I think in that sense, we've been able to divide and balance in that way. But I think what also helps is coming from the psychology world into a very social role like Benne requires. I think it's been very helpful for me, and I think it has taught me a lot. So I'm very grateful that I get to have both these spaces, one safe and quiet and introspective, whereas the other, social and reciprocal. I think both these together itself have added so much for me to have both at one time.
So, what have been some of the biggest learnings?
The first one, I think, is honesty, like Akhil was saying, transparency. I feel like even in a therapy space, so much about transparency. The moment you are transparent, I feel the entire conversation, the entire zone that it goes into, everything is different. I feel like for me, what Benne has given me as a second thing, learning with otherwise as well, a community. I moved to Bombay 4 years ago, but since Benne started, I feel like I'm not so alone in the city. I didn't even imagine that starting this space would give me that, but it has. It's given me a sense of knowing that, I'm alone at home right now, but the moment the feeling gets too much, I have somewhere to go and I will see familiar faces. And that means so much to me. So
it
much.
also gives you a sense of deep comfort.
Yeah, deep comfort. So super grateful to have these spaces.
So, what is it like to be working together as a couple?
There are fights, of course. There are arguments, but then there are also inside jokes, and there are also so much more shared banter, and I think it's I definitely feel closer to you since Benne happened, and
Yeah, I feel very blessed to have Shreya as my co-founder. And yeah, it's not all roses and daisies and sunshine. It takes work, and you'll have professional arguments with the most personal person in your life.
Right.
And sometimes it's not ideal, but largely I feel like we've been doing it for a little over a year now. So I feel maybe in 5-6 years we'll be able to answer this question better.
No, but is there like a clear divide that once we go home, we don't bring work home, and once we are at work, there's a lot of overlap because, it's not easy to create that divide and say, we're not going to bring work home, especially if the co-founder is sleeping in bed with you. There's bound to be some reaction, or it's not possible not to take home to work.
I think as a person, I am a little more, I like boundaries and I like rituals and routines more than him.
Right.
So I have wanted to, for the longest time, keep these two things, separate. But then I think Akhil once told me that Benne is not work, and we should stop looking at Benne as work and somewhere I feel like that was very comforting. Because where Benne is right now, still so young and barely over a year, I think Benne is also a way where we get to do things together and we get to have fun. And so it's not so separate right now.
So what's your vision for Benne? Where do you want to take Benne? Even if it's not a long-term vision, but some short-term goals, some things you want to do in the near future.
I think the short-term goal is the most important one, which is serving the next customer the best experience that we can. And that is always going to be the main goal. The next person who we're serving, we should try to give them the best experience that we can. The long-term goal, I suppose, is to be... So Benne is, based on a darshini. A darshini is in Bangalore, it's a small little eatery, a cafe in your neighborhood that you would go to for a quick bite.
Right.
So the idea is for Benne to become your local neighborhood
Darshini.
Where you go and, you feel at home and you feel...
But Akhil, यहाँ quick bite नहीं होता है. इतनी लंबी line होती है उससे पहले. Bite, once you get in, is a quick bite, but to get in is a long line.
Not always the case. It's not always the case. I mean, I find like many times when Benne is not crowded or not, there's no line, and when there is a line, for me, what is important is after you've had your food, what do you say to me then? How do you feel then? Do you feel like it was worth your while? Do you feel good? Do you feel like you had a good meal? Do you feel like you had a nice laugh with your friends or with your dad or with your family? That is what is important, right? So I largely, when like you said, I welcome people in. And then when they're done, I love to speak to people about how do they feel now? How do they feel like post their meal? And that's what is...
Sometimes he screams across the road when someone has walked away. Sometimes he screams across the road and said, how was
the experience?
Yeah.
Wow. So why don't you tell my viewers the best time to visit Benne when there's no line?
Please come on a weekday during the day.
During the day?
Yeah.
Okay, I think next time we should visit you on the location and interview you eating your dosas and your pori idlis and all of that.
We'd love to have you. We'd love to have you. It's Benne is just it's all heart. It's still very young, so it needs a lot of care and it needs a lot of attention and love.
It's like the first baby in the house.
Yeah, it is. You're right. And expansion or plans or vision, they're all very important, but I think that for us it's important to focus on what's happening right now, like what's happening in the present.
Right.
And just try to do that well, not be in a rush, not try to run, just walk at a good pace, that's fine.
And like you said, Benne is not work. So I think what comes across is that Benne for you is passion. Benne for you is taking your culture and your heritage to the world.
Yeah.
And like you said, at the heart of heart, giving everybody that experience and an insight into your world and welcoming them into not a place to eat, but in a way to your home.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. Yeah.
You put it very succinctly. You're absolutely right.
So on that note, thank you so much for being a part of Voices for Local. I really hope Benne grows, and like my viewers, I'm going to tell them, please visit Benne weekdays pe. And I hope we also get to visit Benne on weekdays so that we can sit and enjoy the experience.
Thank you.
Have a lovely time. All the best.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us. Thank you for being a voice for local brands and giving them a platform. It's very, very cool. And we love what you're doing, and we're very, very grateful to you for having us, and we're very grateful to anyone who's ever visited Benne. Thank you for giving us a chance, and hope to see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.